Welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast, your number one source of all things bodybuilding. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on future episodes. Now, here's your host, Leroy Rollins.
Well, I got my coffee now, so I'm all right. You know?
The man's ready to go.
I got the dad mug, not the dad bod.
No dad bods around here. So, how you been?
Staying positive, you know.
Yeah.
And getting through it like everybody.
Yeah.
You know, for us, it's we're very much in an industry of for a lot of people, luxury.
Yeah.
And so these luxuries go away real quick.
Yeah.
When shit hits the fan, and for a lot of people it has, right?
Yeah. Sure.
And so, and understandably so, right? Like, we have to say, sure, if you know, you're whatever, $100, $200, $300 this month has to go towards food and gas, and not me trying to help you get ready for this show that's not coming, or the beach you can't go to.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. We don't have a ton of clients that I think look at us like we're just as important as their doctor.
Yeah.
And we are having to help try to save their life, right?
Yeah.
You know, we can get into that, but it's like, yeah, it's very much a luxury market, and you're having to lobby for how important you are. And, you know, I'm so thankful that most of my clients, at least at this point, said, like, it's very much worth it to me to keep working with you.
Yep.
And, you know, help me stay sane in this insane kind of new charted territory, right?
For sure. So let's start with your current situation with work, with training, life in general. Like, how are you kind of navigating this whole issue?
Yeah, you know, well, obviously the gym that I work at is closed, right? So it's not as much hands-on with clients as it was pre all of this. But, you know, I'd say 75% of my work was all online coaching anyway, right?
Right.
So it's still, well, I would say a majority of my clients are still in the area. So we were used to still meeting once a week, right? I love saying, hey, look, you're coming over this morning. We're sitting down. We're going to have a cup of coffee. We're going to figure out how your week went, what we're doing from here moving forward.
Sure.
And so even just having that personal attention was really important. You know, a lot of things get lost in text and email to where you want to know, like, really, how are you feeling, right? Like,
let's talk.
So, losing some of that is an adjustment, and I'm trying to have more like FaceTime conversations with clients and things like that.
Right.
So that's obviously adjusted. Having to have clients that just can't do this right now, whether it be financially, emotionally, you know, you name it, right? Stress levels too high, and I'm sure you're hearing the same thing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I completely get, because I often tell my clients, I say, the timing has got to be right if we're trying to either get into the best shape of your life or get ready for a show, you know, things like that, right?
Things have to line up outside of just your training, right?
Yeah. So it's the kind of thing where we have to figure out what were we working towards before, and if it was just your health, look, we need to be able to do that even in the absolute worst kind of apocalypse.
Yep.
If we're talking about, like, you know, you were trying to get off of meds or, you know, get down to even just a halfway healthy BMI, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, not that I believe in the BMI thing. That's the chart that says you and I are unhealthy, right?
I'm level 2 obese.
yeah, exactly. I love that, man. They're like, yeah, really?
Yeah.
Sure. But the body fat percentage obviously doesn't lie. And if, the doc's telling you that your cholesterol is so dangerously, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of clientele that I'm desperately trying to help at this point, because if they were already in bad shape before all of this, and now they're just taking huge strides backwards.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, with the stress and what, if you drop dead tomorrow, like, nobody's going to be surprised, so you're overworked, you're overstressed. Now you're stress eating, you're not exercising because, you can't get yourself to do the living room floor shit. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, do the damn thing. Like, it pisses me off when I'm like, you're already putting yourself in jeopardy. Now you are, basically giving the middle finger to your kids, your grandkids, your spouse, everybody that loves and cares for you. Come on, So we're trying. We're trying to help people,
It's hard when, when people don't want to help themselves, or if they just have reason after reason after reason why they can't do something, or it's the whole, like, I don't have the motivation, blah, blah, blah. Like, me and you can't help that. Like, that's got to be here.
Right. Yeah. It's got to be here,
Yeah.
So, I used to tell people, I used to say, you either have it or you don't. And that can be such a big slap of truth that hurts, where I'm going, hey, your actions show.
Yep.
Now, I have been disproven by that, because at some point somebody broke and somebody snapped, and it was finally the right time for them. And it was like, wow, you surprised the hell out of me,
Right.
And I love that. So now I say, you either have it or you don't right now, but that can change. And who knows what it's going to take inside of you, whether it's like a health scare,
Yep.
or, you had a heart-to-heart with your granddaughter, and it's just like whatever it might be.
Yep.
You got to know what that is for you. So, I'm here to help people. And in the past, I used to think it was either something we were hardwired with, like we have,
Yep.
and we love this, we need this in our life, or you just don't have it. And I'm sorry, you got dealt a shitty hand, whether it's genetically or with a motivation level that you don't get. And I felt bad for these people, that it's like, wow, it wasn't up to you. Well, it can be. It still can be up to you. So, yeah, it's trying to help people that way. Obviously, always trying to lead by example, right? That's what we do, and so we're making sure that we're still eating good 9 times out of 10, and we are getting the garage workouts in, right?
Yeah.
The stretch bands and the few dumbbells, they're red hot, and so it's all good, man.
What's your training looking like right now? What kind of setup do you have?
It is as simple as it can be. When I was the first time I tried something like what I'm doing right now was a couple years ago, when I went to Europe with my older daughter. We did a Greece, Italy, and Spain trip for 2 weeks.
Nice.
It's really awesome.
Nice.
And all I took with me was one pretty thick stretch band.
Okay.
And every day, or almost every day, I would just obviously do rows with that, right? You loop it around anything you can. I was doing double door handles, or anything sturdy. I was doing pull-ups on something that I could do pull-ups on. So obviously we've seen online now whether it's like, are you doing the door pull-ups, or are you hanging off the edge of the house with the gutter, or a pole outside, whatever you can find something on. But but if you can't do pull-ups, then it's going to be rows. Before they shut the parks down, I was going right over to the park, which was just a block away.
Right.
And I posted, an Instagram deal of doing, just one of my 100 pull-up days, right? Just 10 sets of 10. And it was just great. So that was easy. But that, push-ups, and then walking lunges with body squats.
Yep.
And I would just keep this rotation going where it was just basically a push, a pull, a leg. And the entire time I'm doing push-ups and all these other movements, isn't my core getting, stimulated anyway? Yep. Great, that's fine. I mean, what is a push-up? It's a plank that's moving, right? Yeah, exactly. So it's like I did that for 2 weeks, came home, didn't lose a damn thing. And I love the simplicity of that, right? It's like, do I need to do the lateral raises or figure out the handstand push-ups, or, you can do whatever you want. But when those three movements are going to get 95% of the whole body, whether it's directly or indirectly, it's like, how many sets do you need to do of that? Yep. Then do that, right? How long do you need to do this rotation? Pretty much a half hour straight, and I'm blown out.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like,
That'd kill you.
And so... yeah, I love keeping it simple. I love trying to explain to people, if my routine can be this bonehead simple, why do you think you need more than this? And because you can't have more than that, then you're just not going to do anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how people...
I'm trying to give it to people straight like that,
Yeah, I don't know how people just aren't training. Like, I have so much time in the day now that I just pace around, like, waiting to work out. And I work out for like 2 hours just because I have the time.
Yeah, totally. I think it really comes down to, right, do you want to do it? Yeah. And we can't make somebody want to do that. So that's really hard. It's like trying to sit around and figure out. I mean, that's why I've come up with as simple as possible. I'm telling some clients, I'm going, look, every morning when you do your half-hour walk that I'm prescribing to you, you're going to rotate between 3 sets of push-ups that day. You're going to start the walk with a set of push-ups, halfway point, do another set. When you come home, there's your 3rd set. That's it today. That's all I want you to do today. Yep. Tomorrow, you're going to do the same thing with your stretch band row. Right. 3 sets, beginning, middle, and end. Sweet. The next day, you're going to do a set of lunges in between your walk, right? Just keep this rotation going, right? And it's like, you got to just want to do that, man. Yep. I'm really impressed with all of the social media workouts that people have gotten really creative with, and seeing people's building skills with lumber.
Mine right? Was awesome.
Isn't that awesome? Yeah. So, what is it? It's necessity is the greatest, source of invention or something like that. I'm really impressed with what people are building in their garage, and at least like, the Home Depot and all that's open. So
it shows
the people what stuff you need.
It shows the people that really care, right? Like, this is a really very good indicator of the clients that still want it, the people that you see online that really are truly in love with it. They're not just like social media in love with it.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's it reminds me of like the Tulum beach, like what was that? The caveman gym that you were at, right? Lifting like the wood and the blocks and shit like that, ropes and yeah. So some good stuff out there, but what was I going to say? So I had a client the other day that will remain nameless, but she said, I just get bored. Like what other stuff can I do? I get bored. And I said, don't do this workout for mental stimulation. You have to do it for the physical stimulation. Yeah. So I said, if I did the same push-pull leg routine for the rest of my life, I could do that. I would do that, and I would love it because I'm chasing a feeling versus being like, oh, this is exciting.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like how many different ways can I bend an elbow? You know what I mean? How many different ways can I move in this plane or this plane? And it's like if you're trying to get mentally stimulated by new movements all the time, it's like you're missing why we're doing this, right? Yeah. You're gonna run out of shit that's like you think is exciting real quick.
No, exactly.
So chase that physical feeling versus the mental one.
Yep, 100%. So what's your competitive days looking like in the next? I assume this year is a no-go. So let's talk about next year or the year after.
Yeah. I would say never, but I really think that my stage days, I think I'm calling it.
We have a pact.
Yeah. Well, I've come back from that before and said, nah, But you know what? I really, here's the deal, man. I have always said that I've always said that I never want to get up there if I am competing on a decline.
Yep.
Like I only want to show my absolute best at all times, right? Can I be better than I was the last year? Now, I don't think at all that I am on any kind of decline. Like I said, if somebody was like, man, he looks great, but you should have seen him a couple of years ago, I'm out,
Yeah.
And hats off to the Masters competitors and Grand Masters and whatever that are still doing it, but I never wanted to do that. I never had any plans of doing the Masters at all, right? So I don't want to just be like, hey, how good can I do for a certain age category?
Yeah.
If I can't destroy young kids like you, then I'm not interested, right? Yeah. So now here's the deal is to keep improving or maybe to hold that best for however long.
Yep.
What do I have to keep going through, right? What's worth it to me to go through that kind of hell? And honestly, man, after 17 years of competing and 12 as a pro,
wow,
and three different pro cards and countless wins and you name it, like I really feel like I have nothing more to prove. And I used to think, like just a little while ago, I also have nothing more that I want to achieve on stage.
Mm-hmm.
But there would be one more thing I would want to achieve on stage. It's not prove, it's achieve. And that would just simply be competing with friends of mine like you.
Yeah.
Competing with friends of mine that I either have met in person or not, but we've never been able to get the stars to align on that show, on that day, on that season even, right?
Yeah.
And that to me is the most amazing feeling, is battling it out with somebody you care for and respect up there that is your peer, and you're just as much of a fan of them as they are of you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't care where we place. I mean, we're all trying to win, but
yeah,
that feeling of backstage and going up there with guys like you,
yeah,
man, that's magic, right? That is magical for us. And so there's always going to be some like, oh, I wonder how I would have stacked up against this guy or that guy. And so that's kind of like some bittersweet that you can be capping that possibility, that chance to do that, right? But so other than that, I've achieved way more within the sport than I ever thought I would initially.
Yeah.
And so I'm so thankful, man. It has been a career of just always improving and taking myself to another level. And for me now, it is quality of life. And the way I feel about my health and my physique is that right now, see, I've only been at an optimal health and physique level passing through. Either passing through to get to shredded,
yeah,
or passing through to,
grow.
That off season, right?
Yeah.
And only these last couple of years have I not tried to go so much heavier in an off season.
Yeah.
That it felt really good. You know, it's felt really like I know what my optimal weight is in the off season, and I know what I like, how it to feel. I know how I like it to look, and I would like to stay there. I would like to be in that optimal zone for here on out.
Yeah.
You know, like I say, as strong as I can for as long as I can. You know, and it's the kind of thing where it's like, wow, could I really be done with however light I have to get at that point? And may I never see that number again, you know? Maybe I never freaking do the full body shave again, you know? I embrace my Wolverine-ness, you know? Yeah. Or whatever. I never get spray tanned again. I never put the trunks on again. It's like, wow, it can be really bittersweet, you know? But for me, like, I'm just thinking, you know, it's got to be quality of life. It's all the things that I've given up for 17 years because I have lived this as much as I think any other bodybuilder could live it. And for so many years, even in an unhealthy ratio, out of balance, right? You know? So I still feel as strong as ever. I feel as injury-free right now as ever. And
which is
I
nice.
would like to just feel physically optimal right now. So I love to train. I'm always going to train. I'm going to eat like a bodybuilder pretty much for the rest of my life because that's how I enjoy eating, you know. And but as far as like getting sucked down to that competition weight, which I already know, like I'm not willing to do any less than that anymore. So, you know, I know what it means to suffer that much, and it's just unavoidable, right?
Yeah. What have you found that optimal kind of weight to be? Because you competed, like, I think you told me last time you were like 148, 149 stage weight?
148 was the lowest I got before carving up. Yep. So I think it was probably low 50s. So I was probably about 152, 153 on stage, pounds, not kilos.
No.
You know, and so I find that about 12 pounds over that is my happy place. And that, honestly, I can have a ton of food at just being about 12 pounds over stage weight. So, and then I know, like, hey, stay within 5 above that. That's my ultimate ceiling where I'm like, I don't like that, you know? So, yeah, it's staying a lot closer to optimal these days, and you know, it kind of keeps me lassoed from getting too out of hand. But I know damn well that I'm not doing the right thing with the food if I go above that. You know, it's pretty easy.
It seems to be a lot of guys as they, you know, get in their later years of competing and stuff that the distance from stage weight seems to get shorter, right? Like, I'm sure when you were my age that 20, 30 pounds over stage weight was whatever. But now you're 10 or 12, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, when you're younger, and especially let's say in the, you know, a decade or even 20 years ago, I mean, that bulk life was really real. And it was like gain as much weight as you can. And we just thought, you know, through no science, that, you know, the heavier you could get meant the more optimal body, lean body mass you must also be putting on. But it wasn't necessarily true, right? So, and just wanting to feel bigger, you know, wanting that bigness, walking around that way. And I don't like it. It's, you know, I got to 200 one time and was like, get this off of me, you know?
That's still a goal of mine, just to say I did it.
You haven't gotten to 200?
I peaked last year 192 before I started prep.
Gotcha, yeah. Okay, you don't have to, man. I mean, you can if you want, but just to see that number, take a picture.
Yeah,
and
that's all I need. That's all I want. I don't need to stay there just for one day.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. I mean, that literally, I just saw it one time, and then it was like salad and cardio immediately.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, that's when I was with Muscle Tech, and they did a lot of their before and after pictures. So they said, we want your before to look as husky as possible, man, you know?
Okay.
And so, yeah, it's all for marketing. And, I did it once, and I hated how it felt. I mean, just my breathing and walking up the stairs, it sucked. So yeah, no, I'm not about that at all.
With your diet now, like, do you track still, or is it more just like intuitive? You kind of just have a mental note all day?
Yeah, I every once in a while I'll plug in like some new numbers just to see like, hey, if I add this or if I add that, what would it come out to? But because I eat very similar each day, because I like to, right? Yeah. I know what like my go-to breakfast is and my go-to dinners and how they adjust depending on the menu. I pretty much know where my macros are within range. Yeah. It's like I know, if I add another piece of fruit today, I'm at another 100 calories or, another 25 carbs. It's really easy for me to keep a mental tally. I kind of stay honed in and practiced with MyFitnessPal because I'm always teaching that with others, right? Yeah. So I plug in that really quick. A lot of times, even weekly, it's like I'm showing people how to put in a whole day's worth of food in like literally 2 minutes, right? And it's like, okay, here's how you do it. But I eat so instinctively that it kind of depends am I trying to lose a few pounds or am I trying to stay kind of maintained at a sweet spot? I know damn well what I need to do in a day. So, yeah, I'm kind of a creature of habit that way to where I don't stick to the exact menu every day at all. But I really like kind of a couple of different breakfasts that have a simple rotation. And, my dinner, I'm always like, look, pick a meat, pick a carb, pick a veggie or salad. Yeah, I'm great. Call it a day. It's like, yeah, I can't not want to do that. That's how I want to have a nice balance on my plate, right? So, yeah, but whether it's I'm making a burger, that's got your meat as your protein, your bun as your carb, your veggies are on there. It's pretty easy. It's balanced. The right pasta meal that's got a shitload of meat in the sauce. It's pretty simple. So I don't feel like I need to be a slave to MyFitnessPal at all. I always say these tools are there to be used whenever you actually need these tools, right? Just like, the scales and, your Fitbit if you're tracking certain things. So, you want to be specific when it comes time to get specific results, right? Yeah. And I will absolutely jump right back on using all of these tools that are at my disposal when it comes time to be that specific. So I can if I want, but, I'm so good at this that I don't need to.
Yeah, and it comes with time, and it's a skill in itself, right? Like when you have some clients come in and you're like, okay, I need you to track every single day, and we need to get an idea of what you're eating and all this kind of stuff, and they complain about that, and they're like, well, you don't do that, and it's like, yeah, but I used to, right? Now it's mine. Like I can tell you, if you say I had 5 ounces of chicken, then I know that's 35 grams of protein. If you say I had a banana, I know that's 29 carbs. Like those things are like tying our shoes. You know what I mean? You don't think about it. It's just you're always aware of it.
Yeah, totally. I try to help them explain, or I try to explain to them that you're not a slave to the scale and to MyFitnessPal. You are the master of these things, and they're simply tools that are going to help you be that much more in charge of your own life and your own, progress, basically, right? So you kind of have to think of it differently, right? You have these things that can help you be more of a master versus a slave to them, right?
Yeah, so, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, I want to kind of close this out with just me picking your brain about how you've progressed for 17 years. We're both on very much opposite ends of the spectrum of this journey, so I want to hear from you. What you did for 17 years to turn into arguably a top natural lightweight bodybuilder in the world.
Yeah. Well, number one has been to love what I'm doing, right? Like, when I first started this, my first show was 2003, and I was 25 already, which to me just sounds like I was such a kid, right? But other people look at that as starting late, and just kind of whatever. So it just has been loving, obviously, the process of training. We love our training. And then finding that not only are we training for health and for life, but training for whether you want to call it a sport or an event, right?
Yep.
An activity, something that you can display all that hard work and feel like you are amongst, other peers that do what you do in a very kind of niche thing.
Yep.
Was really important to me. So it felt like, hey, this is what I do for me. This is what makes me different from the next person, So just having that passion. If you don't have the passion for it, don't try to talk yourself into it. Find what you like to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It might be tennis. You might be get into rock climbing or, whatever. Everybody should exercise, but you don't have to have that be your passion, So find whatever your passion is and follow that. It's all good. I'm going to have just as much respect for the painter, as long as they're still getting some kind of exercise in their life and they're healthy,
Yeah.
And then I would say have that confidence that that you, regardless of how good you are, you can be absolutely respected and loved and welcomed into this community if you have the right circle like us, right?
Yeah.
Some people just don't have the genetics, or whatever it might be. But you can do this if you have the passion, and you can have the best support in the world if you surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
So that's really important. This can be such a lifestyle of insecurities, and you see on the forums, you got shit talking and all kinds of whatever. But you have also seen that we've had such a family kind of like brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
Brotherhood, sisterhood, that you can absolutely find the right people to be around,
Yeah.
So anyway, it's that, and it's just staying the course. It's like you have to love the process, not just the destination,
Yeah.
So it's the day in and the day out, and figuring out how to have that kind of balance in your life. Always get that training in, and if you can't for a day or 2 days or a week, you know how much that is practically nothing, and you'd be right back on track. Like, it's okay. All is not lost, because whether you got injured or you had to travel for a week, right?
Yeah.
It's like but I always say your body responds to what you do most of the time. So out of most of the time, whether it's weeks or months or years, what were you doing most of the time, right? So, just kind of stay in the course. You have to figure out how to obviously eat per what the goal is most of the time.
Yeah.
We have to eat several times a day, every day without fail, if everything's going right, if you're not starving and homeless, So what you have is really up to you, and whether you got to eat at literally, $10 a day, or you get $50 a day, you can absolutely be on a healthier end of the spectrum or an unhealthy end, right? So we've all had cans of tuna and, broccoli and brown rice and bulk, and sure, we have had that, right? Or we've had, the luxury of having, filet steak at night and, the best of everything for a period of time. But it just kind of is really up to the individual to say, I'm going to be making the choices that I need to make to get to the goal, right?
Yeah.
So, these are kind of things that have been absolutely a staple for me in my life. And always feeling like if you still love to compete and you see the things that you either could have done better with, or you knew that you could improve on, right? Have that longevity, have that dedication to keep improving, no matter how long it might take. I mean, for me, it was always, can I be better this next year than I was last year, right? Yep. Can I be better this show than last show? And it's because I really wanted to. And having that kind of confidence that I knew I could keep improving and I could hold my own against even the top in the world, like this last show. I mean, that for me, this last show was very much my ride into the sunset show. Yeah. Placing top 3 in a pro show like the Muscle Mayhem, behind Sam Okinola and one of my mentors, Jeff Alberts, yeah, was incredible. When I said for months before the show, when people said, "Wow, how do you think you're going to do?" I said, I got 2 goals. Number 1 is to not get last, and number 2 is to somehow miraculously pull off a top 3 podium finish. And I said that second one is a long shot, and I did. Out of 9 really good pros, to still place 3rd, was an absolute dream for me. It was like, wow, it's was incredible. So I was so happy with that, and it really that felt like I got nothing more to prove. I was happy being behind these 2 legends in the sport, basically. Yeah. Right on. So, yeah. I love it. And my next chapter here is to obviously continue to lead by example for all of my clients, for a lot of people that might just be starting out in this. And I'm starting, we're in kind of the building phase of March 4th, which would be my birthday, but it's also my mantra, right? So whatever you're going through, March 4th, don't get stuck here and you can't go back. So, we're going to be launching a fitness apparel line. Nice. A coaching organization that basically certifies other coaches. So it's going to carry weight, the March 4th coaching organization. So awesome. I just do things a very specific way. I won't say it's better than others, but it's better than others. So how I can help, how I can motivate others is really my calling. And it has been 20 plus years in this industry, whether it's just as a conventional personal trainer or a competitor, having been a Marine, a firefighter, you name it, a bartender that's just listening to your problems. Yeah. It's like I'm on this earth to help other people and to help other people feel as good as I do, whether it's physically or mentally or in your heart. You know what I mean? So that's my next chapter. And you better believe that I'm going to be leading by example in the gym and in the kitchen for as long as possible. I'm going to be there backstage with my clients. I'm going to be online presently. I mean, people are already noticing, like, wow, you're posting something every day, like whether it's a workout or you're just chatting about how you're feeling, Yeah. I feel like I can talk to you now. And I think that's important, Awesome. Right on, man. Speaking of posting online, where can everybody find you? Ace Baldwin Fitness, Instagram. Perfect. You can always message. You go to citadelnutrition.com, which is my sponsor. What is it? Just Ace Baldwin on Facebook. So I think I'm the only Ace Baldwin that exists in the world at this point. So I'm pretty easy to find. Yeah. But reach out if anybody wants to message me, ask me questions. PM, DM, email at acebaldwin@hotmail.com. You name it, reach out. Starting next month, we will continue also with the Ace Baldwin YouTube channel. So you can always find me there. I've got several videos out. We're going to continue with those. Sweet. So, just try to be a social media presence soon. not trying to be Insta famous. I'm just trying to say, hey, look, if this is the platform that everybody's on, we need to reach out this way, right?
Yep.
And then, look out for the March 4th fitness apparel. And, man, just trying to help others, just like you, buddy.
Hey, we do what we can. Give this guy a follow. His Instagram and everything will be linked down below. You guys can follow him. And this definitely won't be his last appearance on the podcast, so you don't got to worry about that.
Nah, man, we'll keep chatting, buddy. You keep doing your thing. I love it. I'm such a big fan of yours, Leroy. Right, you're doing it right, brother.
Hey, I appreciate that, man.
I'm proud of you, man. Yep.